Hey everybody, welcome to Cooking with TiVo. I know it's been some time since we've all gotten together in the kitchen, but it's a cold, snowy day out there today, and I'm hungry for something warm inside me. So today we're going to make a Spanish beef stew that came in the most recent edition of Christopher Kemball's Milk Street. I think it would be a fun way to get something tasty into us, warm our bones, and have some fun in the kitchen. So why don't we get started? This is the recipe that I will be using today. I am cutting it in half as it makes 4 to 6 servings, which is about twice what I need. I will also make some substitutions. The recipe calls for turnips, but I will use potatoes, and I don't have any sherry vinegar, so I'll use balsamic vinegar. Applying the practice of mise en place, I've gathered all of my ingredients: spices, sherry and vinegar, mushrooms, onions, broth, my carrots and potatoes, my garlic, all nicely chopped. As we get started cooking, we measure out 2 tablespoons of good quality olive oil into a Dutch oven, rondelle, or large saucepan and heat it up until shimmering on medium heat. Once the oil is shimmering, you want to add in your meat, your garlic, and you stir it until it's browned and fragrant. This may take a few minutes. When you're done, we will remove the meat, reserving any of the oil and liquid that's left over. While the meat and garlic are browning, I chop the onions, potatoes, and carrots into bite-sized pieces. I opted not to peel the potatoes and carrots because I feel it adds a lot more nutrients. But if you want to peel them, go ahead. And if not, just wash them first. I have my spices pre-measured into a preparation dish, but I freshly grated the nutmeg right before using. Now that the meat is done, I set it aside in a bowl. In the same pot, I add the onions, a pinch of salt, the potatoes, and the carrots. Make sure that all of it is coated with the oils and drippings left in the pan. Next, I add in my pre-mixed spices that I've held aside in a prep dish, sprinkling it evenly throughout. Add a half a cup of the sherry to start the base. Pour that into the pan and bring it to a simmer. Next, we add our pre-mixed beef broth to the pan. Next, our balsamic vinegar. I'm using 3 teaspoons of the balsamic vinegar since my tablespoon is still dirty from using it earlier in the recipe. That will be the equivalent amount for my recipe. Once it has all been brought back to a boil, we can begin to add our meat back in. Then we cover it up and wait for an hour and a half. Well, we've got about 10 minutes left on this stew right now. So I've got my mushrooms all chopped up, and now is about the time that we need to add the mushrooms into our stew. That'll give it just enough time to make those mushrooms nice and tender, and then the stew will be ready to eat. It's looking pretty good right now. Just give it a good stir. Make sure all the mushrooms are covered up with a little bit of the gravy. And if you need, and I think it's boiled down enough, I think we're going to add just a little bit more water into the pan right now. And that'll give it just a little bit more gravy for when we serve it out. Looking good. So we've got about 10 more minutes until dinner. Once everything is cooked down and it's ready to serve out into some bowls, sit down and enjoy. Well, that's all for Cooking with TiVo tonight. Buen provecho. I wish you a happy evening and thank you for watching.